Hey friends, welcome back to the Laylee Madi podcast. Today I am so excited because I have connected with our guest, Shannon McKinstrie, on Instagram. I want to say it was like a year ago.
That sounds right.
That sounds right. It's been a while that I've been like following along and I feel like I already know her, and we just met today. Like we've been in DMs and stuff, but this is like our first face-to-face meeting. So you guys are getting like full unfiltered chat, which as my longtime listeners know, that's like how I started this podcast. Was I was like, I want to record my conversations so that everybody hears all the tea. So I'm going to ask Shannon a million questions about Instagram growth, about marketing strategy. This is something I think everybody is very, very obviously interested in and also has like a love-hate relationship with. So Shannon is a social media strategist and marketer. I'd love for you to like introduce yourself. I know you've had like, similarly to myself, you've had like quite a journey. I know you've had like worked like different industries and done different things. Like, how did you get into this? Tell us all about you.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited. It's a long journey, a long road, but basically I was that kid in the 90s with like the family camcorder. Like I was just documenting everything. I was the friend in college who took all the photos. Like everyone was like, you know, I just loved, back then it was just analog, right? So I went on to study TV production, went to CNN, blah, blah, blah. Like I was like,
I love that you just like went to CNN.
No biggie. Well, it really wasn't a biggie. I was like, you know, the girl that like the anchors were just like, you know, I sat in the, you know, I like ran the fonts and graphics in the control room, and it was nothing glamorous, but it was glamorous to me. I loved it. I was like, I want to work in the newsroom. I want to do that. But then I was working overnights and it was just horrible. I was there doing Katrina, tsunami, like early 2000s. So it was just early or mid 2000s. It was just rough. And then I was like, and, you know, not making any money. And then that was in Atlanta. I'm from DC. So I moved back home to DC and I was like really lost. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know. Wait, you're from DC?
Yeah. Well, Northern Virginia.
No. Same, Arlington.
Oh my gosh. I grew up in Centerville.
Shut up.
No.
That's so fun. Well, that's why we connect. We're Nova girls. Oh my God. I love that. I swear it's 6 degrees of Nova, everyone I meet. It's, but yeah, so I grew up there. And then when I moved back, I was trying to find like what I want to do. So I was like applying to every marketing role, couldn't get one because they were like, that's not your background. And again, this is like MySpace was the only social media existing at the time. And then Facebook started coming on the scene. And then, but you know, that was just for fun. So I took like sales jobs that I could, like 9-to-5 sales jobs. And then one day, once LinkedIn, Facebook, you know, started becoming like business-ish, the sales marketing job I was at, they were like, does anyone want to just run our LinkedIn and Facebook pages? And I was like, me, like, I want to do it. Because I was always the friend that people were like, Shannon, what should my caption be? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, this is just naturally what I love. I've loved documenting. I love writing. I love all of it. So they let me do that. And I was having a lot of fun with it. And that's I just kind of fell into it, but it morphed my love of like documenting, storytelling, writing. Right. And so once social media started becoming like, oh my gosh, this is actually becoming a field. And actually when I started, it wasn't, but once it was, I was like, oh my gosh, I think this night, you know, I know it's not a fad, but people are now discovering it's not a fad. And that's when I started my business. I just started working with local people in DC, actually, realtors, hair salons, clothing boutiques. And I was charging like $50 for Facebook, like $100 for Instagram. It was so fun. Yeah. And then that's what started. So that was like 2015. And that's how my business started. And then I started teaching local like workshops and it just exploded from there. So it's crazy. I've been around for a long, long time. And it was confusing then. So like, imagine, you know, how confusing it is now. Oh my God. So I'm always like, people are like, I'm so frustrated. I'm like, people were frustrated in 2013 when all you had to do was post a photo and a caption. Like, it's okay. But it's been an amazing journey. And I love what I do a lot.
That's amazing. Okay. I love that. So now you don't do like done for you anymore, right? So that's like kind of how you started, but now you do education for social media.
Yeah. And I'll do audits, consults. So, and I still have 3 one-on-one clients. Okay. So while I'm not the one actually physically posting, I'm the one giving them the ideas, writing it all. They're posting it. So I'm still in the thick of it, which is good because I always want to be in the trenches. Because if I'm not, I can't teach this. Like I need to know what's working, not just for Instagram coaches. Yeah. I need to know what's working for, you know, the brick and mortars and the coaches. You know, some of my people are coaches, some are still in the real estate space. So it's kind of cool. I get to still dip my toe and play around.
Yeah, one thing I really like about your content is, and something that I think is easily digestible for somebody who like me, who and my listeners know this, like I have a pretty small following and I always have. And who knows if it'll be that way forever, but it's never been like a deterrent for my business. However, I see the value in growing it's your market, it's your leads, it's who is aware of what you're doing, it's awareness of your business. But one thing I really loved about taking in your content is you talk about how every different niche can kind of learn the strategies that you're putting out there, and you make it feel very approachable. So I'd love to just kind of like kick off the conversation with the things that and also what I love about your content is you're not afraid to call out like the BS from other like social media quote unquote experts who aren't actually experts and who are just kind of using kind of gross tactics. And I think that has been such a turnoff for me, and it's made me so honestly like weirdly like, well, I've never hit 10K and I just like don't even care, and it hasn't even.
It's like almost a flex because it's like, ew.
I'm like, ew, I don't even care. And then I see you and I'm like, oh wait, no, like look at all the good that can come from it, and like maybe I should be focusing on this. And so anyway, all that to say,
I love that. I love hearing that. I've never heard that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's nice. I feel like you low key are kind of like battling mindset around the people who are like, well, I don't really want to center myself. Like, I don't really want to do this gross thing. I don't really want to like push buttons just to push buttons. Like, I don't want to do a hot take and piss people off for no reason. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody just for views. That's weird to me. So you've never done that. And I love that. So I'd love to hear like, what are some of your, I don't even want to call them hot takes, but what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing or the bad advice that you're seeing put out there right now?
Yeah, I think, a lot of the bad advice is just like, stretching people to their limit. Like you have to post 2-3 times a day. Hashtags are dead. It's all these absolute, I think just in general, anyone who, and actually my podcast, my new episode came out this morning and I literally say that on it. I'm like, anyone speaking in absolutes to you is full of it. Like full of it. And the only rules there are, or absolutes are, you can't use more than 30 hashtags. You'll get in trouble, right? Yeah. You can't bully. You can't like the obvious.
There's like user rules.
User rules. There are no rules. Like everyone is so crazy. I'm like, there's not, and there is no official playbook. The only playbook is the playbook that works, for you. Just like I always like to say like, okay, you're a weight loss coach. Well, one weight loss coach is going to tell me to do this. Another's going to tell me to do this. It's the same thing. And everyone, hopefully both of their people lose weight. Like it's not, there's no one way to do it and to succeed. So that's probably the worst. Just anything that's like, you have to, is garbage advice. Even like when the only post one story a day stuff came out, I was like, yeah, that's great advice if you want more views, but if you want more sales, that's really bad advice. Like everything is a depends moment, right? Or it depends, not like the diapers. We all have a depends moments if you're in your 40s. Hello.
I'm dead. I'm sorry. That was so good.
Yeah, depends moments. That should be trademarked by them.
Oh my God, please put that somewhere. Like that was so good. Sponsored by Depends.
That should be the snippet you put on Reels. They're gonna be like, what the hell?
Just two girls from two 80s babies.
Oh, that was good. Sorry, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So like, it just depends. So like, again, anyone that says only do this or you have to is just a walking red flag. And I'll say you should only if, right? There's a reason, there's a nuance there. So that's just the only bad advice. Anything that's absolute and it's just like not that deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love when you say that too, because I think it's so comforting to hear as somebody who overthinks every piece of content I put on. I was having this conversation with my husband, Tim, and I was telling him like, we have our like elderly family member. They're not elderly, but they're like our parents' ages of family members who are now on Facebook, and they love reposting like just things that are not real. And I'm like, they're out here doing the most, and they have there's no fact checking. There's nothing. They do not give a crap. They just go.
And then
like,
we're hovering over a post button and it's like,
meanwhile, I'm like, oh my gosh, how does this represent me? My face and my name is on it. What is every single thing that I could possibly think of to like post before it? And other people are out here anyway. So,
I love that.
When you have an overthinker in any of your programs or as a one-on-one client, what do you tell them? Like if they're like me and they're just like, I am paralyzed, so nobody's going to care about, okay, here are my problems. Nobody's going to care about this. I have no idea what to post. Like, I don't want it to be about me. I have a really hard time feeling attention seeking, even though like I'm just trying to get people to see what I'm doing and to like come join me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This content has nothing to do, like the things I want to share about, I'm excited about, has nothing to do with my offer. And I'm just overthinking everything. What do you do with those people?
I honestly, it's like, and it's something I've actually said since I started doing this in like 2013, 14. I was like, what would you post today if you weren't selling anything? Like go back to you circa whatever, before you had a business, like what would you share? You'd probably be like, here's what I was up to today. Here's what I worked on today. Another thing I say is just to post in stories. Like for people that are really struggling, I'm like, lean on stories, because for a while I barely ever posted. That's, I didn't really start consistently posting to Instagram until 2018. Okay. And like, I had my account, I think since 2016, but like I didn't post, but once stories came out, I utilized stories. And I just documented my day. And so that would keep me top of mind with people, and and it made me more comfortable to talk about things to post. Because if I got a DM going, oh my gosh, that's a really good idea. Or, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. Or, oh my gosh, that's hysterical. I'm like, oh, okay, then I'll make it a post. And that makes you less like, does this matter? Do people care? You already know it care. I used to call it the story test. Yeah. Like test it on stories. If it's crickets, I mean, obviously if you have 500 followers and that aren't engaged, like don't judge the crickets off that. Yeah. But even yesterday I was on the call with my mentor and I said something about how carousels these days almost mimic children's books. Like they're very like title slide and then just little bits of text on each slide. Like they're not heavy. They're like literally like the books my 3-year-old has. And she was like, oh my God, that is so brilliant. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm making a reel today about that. So have conversations outside of social media. Like, what made someone go, oh my gosh, I wish more people knew that? Or, oh my gosh, like you have so much intel in your brain and ideas and perspectives and thoughts. And so if someone reacts positively, then you should probably post it. And like,
I love that. What if the things that people are reacting positively to have nothing to do with your offers?
That's a good one. So let's say, okay, for instance, I get that a lot, right? Because I will be like, oh, here, like the show I was just,
use your stories. So people are like, okay, I'm using my stories. I'm sharing like my favorite products, but I'm not an influencer. I'm just, that's all I have to talk about today.
Right. And so like, we just finished that show, like All Her Fault. Right. So I put it on stories and I was like, oh my God. I will sometimes just find a way. I mean, that wasn't like, didn't blow up, but like my love of Real Housewives, my love of whatever, I will infuse that into my content.
Okay.
So let's say while you're in stories, people are loving the fact that you like maybe every mug you have, or you have a really cute mug.
Yeah.
And it's like, everyone's like, where did you get that? Oh my God. And then when you do a talk to camera reel, be holding that mug. I mean, that's like obviously it's not topic, but like what is something that in stories got people's attention?
Yeah.
And how can you infuse that into the reel or the carousel or whatever? But I do that a lot, right? Like when I'm talking, I'll sometimes be holding a mug or a lipstick or whatever. And it's not intentional. It's just because I always have lip gloss or coffee with me. But it's just a way to, while you're maybe on stories, they know you about as the person who loves cats or has this, then your cat should be in the video. So when they're seeing stories, they also see you on your feed. And while you're talking nutrition or talking something else, they're like, oh yeah, like it's still that, if that makes sense. Like it's almost like a little crossover episode on Disney where like the person comes in for like a quick thing. It's like, oh yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah.
But really like take the things that you know people don't know or are curious about, or again, speaking from your own perspective is everything.
Yeah.
So, just get on there and talk. And if you're worried about, recognition and people staying around, like add those little visual cues and hooks that you already know grab people in stories.
I love that. Okay. So what are like the top 3 things that you're seeing working really well right now on social. I feel like everybody, and you might say this and that's fine, but I feel like everyone's like video, 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 video. But I feel like I've seen in your content that you've put out as somebody who follows you, like I feel like I've seen you share some variety and some other things. So are there like 2 or 3 things that you can share that are just like taking off and that somebody could kind of implement today and moving forward?
Well, one is the carousels, right? They used to be like full master classes and sure, those will still work. Again, there's no absolutes, right? Yeah. But what I see working really well, really simple hooks of a carousel. Mm-hmm. But the hook of that carousel is personal. It's like, here's things I'm doing too, or here's what here are things I'd buy again and again as a blah, blah, blah. Here's the books I would read if whatever. You make it personal to you as a recommendation. So whether it's a recommendation, an idea, or a story, that first slide you want to be really grabby, sticky hook, right? That's like, oh, wow, I want to know. It's curious. And then the rest of those slides, like 1 or 2 sentences max.
Yeah.
I do more on mine, but sometimes I don't, but like what I see doing well, I don't always practice what I preach because I want to get so much out to them. But I've tried to cut back on my carousels. My Shannon, take a sentence out. Like it's not that deep.
I love what you said about children's. I mean, just even in passing the children's book analogy, like I love that.
I was like, I hope it clicks for people because I'm like, that should like look at a children's book and that should be about what your carousel looks like. It's a picture with some text on top and not a lot of text that's heavy and takes us a PhD to understand. So I always love the analogy. Like there's this doctor's viral reel and literally the first thing she says is I fix bones for a living. She didn't say I'm a da-da-da. I don't even know what that doctor would be. Right. So it's like, speak to us like we're dumb. And it's not that we are dumb, but we're scrolling on Instagram. We're not locked in.
Right.
So that's one. Carousels, minimal text, really good visuals, simple. The second is hooks. Like this kind of is a crossover from that one, but like hooks with identifiers. Like for you would say, here's how to get speaking gigs as someone who's spoken on stages in front of whatever, as someone who blah, 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 from someone you want to build. If it's that sort of educational content, you want to really drive it home why you are the one to trust, not just how to get more speaking gigs, how to start a podcast. It's like, I can go to ChatGPT for that. What can I learn from you that's different? Right. So then that's the second one is just make sure your hooks have identifiers. And then the third, just off the cuff, talk to cameras.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can still have the microphone. Yes, but it needs to feel like a FaceTime more than ever. Yeah. And we've been saying that forever, but now I'm like, no. Like your reels should almost feel like Instagram stories. Yeah. Because when we're watching an Instagram story, it's someone we've chosen to follow already. So when you're watching a reel that feels like a story, you feel like you're already following them. And right, it's like an instant. So I find that the reels of mine that do really, really well and convert the most followers, definitely my talk to cameras convert the most followers. Yeah. But if I just feel like I just put my phone down on the counter and I just got to get this off my chest, people love it. I love that. Yeah. Real connection, human, like that's what's working right now.
I love that. That is, I feel like super encouraging because as somebody who, it's funny, everybody I know has a very different comfort level with each part of Instagram where I live in stories. Like I post stories all day, every day. I just don't care because there's that comfort of like, it's going away. Nobody cares. Whereas like I have a really good friend who I coach her too. Although now we're friends, but anyway, one of my coaching clients / friends, she overthinks stories. Like she puts so much time and effort in and I'm like, it's not even going to stay there. Like let's, but I love that almost like you just flip that on its head for me to be able to say like, okay, well, if I'm so comfortable with stories, why can't I just take that content and post it to my feed? And then maybe other people will see it because no one's seeing my stories except my followers.
Yep. And you know what's funny? I've taken a few stories of mine that got a lot of DMs and I've saved them to my camera roll and then shared as a reel.
I love that.
So I remember someone one time was like, oh my gosh, this should be a reel. And I was like, oh, okay. Actually, yeah, the one I did the other day, I had eye patches on and I was just venting. Yeah. And I turned it into a reel and it actually did really well in trials, which was crazy. I put it on trials first and I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, maybe I should put this to my feed. And I did. So it's okay. It just shows that like the content we don't really overthink is always going to do better anyway. So
yeah, I want you to share your quick trials tip because
Oh
this is
yeah.
like a hot tip that like I've actually implemented. So I want
Good.
our listeners to hear it too.
Yeah. So there's a couple things you can do if you have edits, which I would suggest having edits, which is so cool because I do the same reel every week. So everything's already built in there. Like the text is where it needs to be and I just update the text.
Oh.
So it saves as a project and edit. So if you have edits, you create the reel and put your text, put your audio, whatever. You share it to trials first. Then you go back to edits, open the project again, export again, and then share it just to your feed, just regularly. If you don't have edits, you can also do this in your drafts. So in your Reels drafts, you can there's 3 little dots, tap the dots and then tap duplicate.
Yeah.
And then that will have 2 versions of your reel. One goes to trials, and then the other goes to your feed. And I let my trials stay as trials. I don't know if apparently that's a really hot topic. Everyone's like, why? I'm like, why not? Like, why not have 2 going, one on trials and one on my feed? Like, let's let them both they're both on a different yellow brick road. Like, let them go. So, and you can also in trials, you can edit your trial or manage your trial to make sure it doesn't get automatically posted to your feed. So that way there's one out there in that algorithm and then there's one on the other.
Yeah. I love that so much. I feel like that's such a tangible tip that people can kind of like put into action. And we got a second tip that I didn't even think of, which is that you do the same reel every week. I don't know. I just like never thought to do that. Like,
yep.
I love that that's systematized. I love that that's an easy system. Do you suggest people doing a series in that or is it just random?
Yeah, it's literally, and it's funny because again, I threw it out there like a month ago. So I've done it like 4 weeks now on a Monday. And I was like, heard you were looking for reels, hooks or whatever. Well, you needed something to post and then drops a list of like Monday, this hook, Tuesday, this hook, Wednesday. And I goes through 5 days of hooks. Okay. So every Monday I share the same one. I just share different hooks. So it's not the same in a different audio. And then in the caption, I'm like, this audio is trending. So it's not this, my audience isn't like, girl, like it's every week it's 5 fresh new hooks, a new audio. And then I mix up the caption a little bit. And again, cause it's in edits, I just go in and like, it takes 5 minutes. Yeah. And one of them went crazy and brought in all these new followers. So it's just like, and if it stops working and then I'll find something else. Yeah.
Okay. This is like putting you so on the spot, but I think it would be fun just knowing like how your content normally goes. Could you take that idea and share like 3 different niches and how they could like take that idea and apply it to their niche?
Yeah. So maybe it's like routines or like heard you were looking for 5 ways to take care of yourself this week. That didn't involve blah, 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 right? Something like that. Cause I love it's been working really well for people. I heard you were looking for, and then ask yourself, what is it? And again, ask chat if you're stuck, but heard you were looking for blank, whatever that is, whether it's meals, whether it's mindset, whatever it is. And then you just, after 3 seconds, and if you look at my account, you'll see them. I have one every Mondays when I share it. And then you just drop your list. So what is it your people are looking for? I heard you were looking for. And then what's cool about that is it signals to their brain right away, like, oh, I am looking for that. So I need this account in my life. And then at least it follows too. So it's not just educational, boring. It's like, oh yeah, she's right. I did need that.
I love that. Oh, that's so helpful. Okay, cool. Yay. And then I think the last real question I want to ask you, because I've seen this before, but you kind of approach like content buckets or content pillars or whatever in a very different way. You want to give us like a speed round of that? Sure.
So I think I used to call them pillars, buckets. And now I'm like, no, they're not. They're just types of content. Like,
not even a thing. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just so tired of all the jargon. Cause I'm like, everyone calls it, and again, there's no one way to do any of this, but when you look at any piece of content or whether it's LinkedIn, anywhere, they all fall under one type. It's either something humorous, something helpful, something that makes them feel heard and seen, or it's something behind the scenes. So I was like, let me come up with a really easy way to remember this. I was like the 4 H's. So it's helpful, heard, humor, happenings. So if I look at any piece of content, I'm like, either, that's funny. It's humorous. It's relatable, right? Or it's something that makes them go, this account is for me. It makes them feel seen and heard, whether it's like, it could be a quote or it could just be like POV, you're looking to blah, blah, blah. And you found my account, something like that. Like just a direct call out to your people. And then helpful is obviously tips, tutorials, demos, how-tos, suggestions, ideas, that sort of thing. And then lastly is happenings, which again could be like, oh, look, we just went to the Bahamas and here's what we did. Or I just hosted this thing, or I just spoke on stage at this. my goal is to whatever, like anything that's personal, but it can be business too. It just lets us into your world. And that's that last one. So it's those 4, and they can all kind of also overlap, right? Like your tip could be funny, right? It's like, it's not, again, I don't ever want people to put themselves in one box, but people are like, all right, I need a conversion piece of content. Now I need an entertaining piece. Now I'm like, y'all, like all of I convert with every post. I sell with every post. I get follows with every post. I get comments with every post. I make sure people trust me with every post. So I try not to put my content in one little bucket. It's like, how can I make someone feel taken care of, capable, heard, lighter? Like that's how I approach content.
I love that. Okay, this was so helpful. I feel like I learned so much. I'm feeling fired up to like work on my socials, so that's exciting.
Good.
Are you down to like end with a rapid fire random, like just fun random? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, here we go. Who is your favorite follow on Instagram?
Ooh, who is It's probably, I'm the worst. I like the accounts like girls and betches and stuff. So that.
Love that.
Anything millennial humor, just, that's what I like.
100% same.
Yeah.
So relatable. Okay, what is your favorite feature?
Stories.
Okay, perfect. What's your favorite show to binge watch?
Ooh, anything Real Housewives.
Okay. Yeah. What's one thing no one on social knows about you?
Ooh, that I'm rarely wearing a bra in stories. I am today. You're welcome.
You're welcome, everyone. I love that.
Typically don't have a bra on until noon. So that's why I shoot most of my videos up, because I'm just like, I don't want to.
That's perfect. Because it's the worst. Okay. And then what's like a hot take on social?
That literally 80% of the experts out there are full of absolute crap. And I get in so much trouble. I've lost so many followers. I don't care. I'm just like, y'all can take, and people will write me, well, so-and-so said, I'm like, well, so-and-so is wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. And I'm a very gentle person. I'm very soft. I'm very tender. I don't like to get loud, but I'm like, that will trigger me like to no end. It's like, you might as well just call my best friend out her name. Like, I just get so upset. I'm like, you guys, I do this for a living. And people will get mad. They're like, well, I heard. I'm like, yeah, I'm on here spreading crap. That's what I'm here to do. No. If I was, I'd have 1 million followers.
So I mean, not like you're doing poorly. So I think you're doing great. I love that. I love that you stand on business. And I feel like you've done that a couple of times. That you don't shy away. Like if someone steals content, if somebody's doing something unethical, like I love seeing that side of things. And not from like that's some tea, but it's like, okay, this girl's got ethics, and I love that.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. How can people work with you?
Reels Lab is probably the best thing to do right now. You can get in there right away, and I basically hand you your content every week. And I just go, here's the 5 reels to create based on your industry. If you want to do more, I always add bonuses, but I do 2 coaching calls a month too. So you get my eyes on your account too. It's not just a membership where I go, here's templates. I'm very much involved. And there's like 20, 30 industries in there. So wherever you fall, there's tons of support for you in there.
I love that. That's amazing. Okay. Well, we will link all of Shannon's stuff up in the show notes. Make sure you go check that out, and also take a listen to Shannon's podcast, because I know you break down a lot of this stuff. It's weekly, right?
Yes, it's every Tuesday. Yeah.
That's amazing. So I know what I'm going to be listening to tomorrow. Thank you so much. This was so fun. I'm so happy to be able to bring all of your content to everybody. And we're going to have you back on, I think, because I didn't even get through like half my questions.
Oh, yay. Yes, let's do it. I'm so down.
Awesome.
This was so
fun.
Right.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks.
All right. I'll see you guys on next week's episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Laylee Emadi podcast. If you found value in today's episode, it would mean the world if you would leave a review or share it with a friend who's on their journey to becoming an industry educator or speaker. Want more support as you grow? Head to layleemadi.com for free resources and more information on how we can work together. Until next time, keep showing up, keep sharing your voice, and keep leading with purpose.